Hi everyone, we're going to speak about Steppenwolf, one of the most famous books by my favorite German writer Hermann Hesse today. And why we chose to speak about Steppenwolf? Well, first of all because Hermann Hesse is a writer that I relate to very much and we're both fans of him. And also because Steppenwolf is one of the most complicated books, novels that he has written, and people couldn't understand him properly when it was published. And there were misunderstandings actually at that time, and even now in Germany today, you need to be explained some parts. Quite honestly, the first time I read the book myself, I read them of course in German, I couldn't make it out properly. I had to read it a second time last year before I could fully understand and appreciate the book. And so Hermann Hesse writes into the different genres. He writes both fiction and non-fiction. His fiction is about himself, so the books are semi-autobiographical. Okay, they are about him in different stages in his life, the challenges that he faced and how he dealt with them or how he failed to deal with them. So because of that, many of us can relate to his books. Apart from his beautiful German writing, it is everyday problems that people face. So after I think it's about 90 years after being published, the book is still popular. Okay, quite popular in the 20th century, but even now still popular with many people. At that time, when the book came out, Hermann Hesse faced some problems. Okay, because the German government. He was heavily criticized for writing such a book. Of course, the reason was because in Siddhartha he had made some political allusion to certain problems in Germany. So with Steppenwolf and his direct, frank mentioning of sex and opium and drugs, he was heavily criticized. So what is the book about?
At first, pardon me for my poor English language, but it pushed me to make this interview. Our hobby is book, and we have a channel in the Persian language to sharing of fun and feeling to others. Lida telling me, if we're using this in the English language, that must be fun. That's a bridge between culture from the small city surrounded with the mountain, version of my city, to the rest of the world. And we do this. I read this book in the Persian, this has a good translation, and I like Hermann Hesse. The first book I read from him is Siddhartha, that book about the journey to find the root of life. And I think this book is same like that, but in the modern time. In this journey of the book, Harry Holler, the character of the book, he is very serious and live like very disciplined life. He act like a gentleman, reading serious book and just listening to the classical music. But he has a lot of the pain and he feels lonely. He finds he has a problem and he lost. He's thinking of the suicide at the age of 50. But something's happened. He finds some journal with a name just for crazy people. And he finds some information about the magical theater, and he searches for that, and he see Hermine, a girl in the ball. That time his journey begins, and he has a lot of the different experience and those things that he never do. Going to the lot of the party with the girl, listening to cheap music, drinking, using the opium, and etc. At last, after a lot of the experience in the magical theater, he finds the way. I think this is a...
That's right. Okay, so I believe that the main theme of the book is what we call in German die Vielfältigkeit der Persönlichkeit. It means the multiplicity of forms of personality that each of us possesses. Now, in the beginning, what you realize is that this character has two personalities. One is the proper German citizen who reads difficult texts. He's an intellectual. He listens to classical music. Doesn't hang about with all sorts of people. He's very choosy about his life. On the other hand, there is this wolf inside him, okay, who is acting quite opposite to the proper Harry Holler. He has a tendency towards going to bars, dancing with girls, learning at least to dance with girls, drinking, and many things, okay, which the proper Harry Holler sees as not proper. And what happens in the magical theatre especially, and through the article that is given to him, he realizes that we all possess different aspects to our personality, okay? And what we should do is to acknowledge them, okay? And sometimes experience our different personalities, okay? It is only then that we can choose, and at the end this is what he does, okay? He experiences the wolf part of his personality, and then at the end he's able to choose what kind of a life he wants to lead from then on. It's only then, okay, that you reach enlightenment and can be true to yourself. So ignoring one aspect of our life is not going to help us, okay, what is basically saying. Okay? And we should also remember, well, in the book, before that, in the book, there are different characters. There is Hermine, who is the feminine, if you like, you know, this is my interpretation at least, the feminine part to Hermann, okay, Hesse, okay, which is actually Harry Holler himself. Hermine is the feminine part, as I said, and there is this Pablo, okay, he's also interested in music, but jazz, not classical music. He plays music, he doesn't study it, okay, opposite to Harry Holler, who studies music seriously, like a serious subject, okay. And we should also remember about Germany at that time. So Germany at that time was going through transition, if you like, you know, the rest of Europe as well, but especially Germany. The book is written at around a few years after First World War, a few years before the Second World War. So what was happening is that Germany, because of First World War and the, I don't know, I think maybe the American influence in Germany, many American, more Western ideas were introduced to the country. So jazz was being introduced, for example, the culture was being changed, the way the norm of behavior was changing in society. So there was a confusion in Germany, okay? And about technology, we had cars, okay, increasing in number, lifestyles being changed, okay, on the one hand. On the other hand, this book is written about a Harry Holler who is entering his 50th year, so he was, I think, about 48 years old. And he was going through a transition as well, okay, so something like a midlife crisis, if you like. It's a beautiful book, yeah, beautiful book, many things to think about, okay, and to consider, and many aspects that we can relate to if we, first of all, understand what he's talking about. We have the immortals, okay, in the book. So in this case, there's Mozart, Goethe. It's a very German book with many German aspects of the German culture at that time. And how to reach immortality, okay? Laugh at yourself, okay? Don't take yourself too seriously, okay? You can laugh at your mistakes, acknowledge different aspects of your personality, and take it easy.
In the book, writer tells us a lot of the things, but I want to speak about one of them. I think Freud and Jung telling something like that. Mm-hmm. We must understand all of the part of life to choose the best way. Mm-hmm. Inside us lives a lot of the animal, and the art of the life is to tame them.
Tame them, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we must understand them, who they are, and why. Sometimes we like acting like them. Maybe we just listening to the animal inside us without the thinking. And for thinking, we must learn and have some experience of the simple enjoyment of the life. Maybe a lot of the problem coming to this part of the world is about this. We don't have a lot of experience in our life. All of the time we think what people thinking about us.
Yes.
And we judge people too. Mm-hmm. Some things very simple, like have a dancing or a light clothes in the summer is opposite the rules or is forbidden in your culture. Reading books, especially this book, show us if we want to achieve the point, in the first place, we must know the simple rules of the life. We must calculate how much of our act coming from the animal inside us, and how much of them is come from the traditional. how logically we make our decision in the life.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so what he's trying to say is that we are taking it too hard on ourselves. Okay, so let's relax, let's take things easy, get rid of this feeling of guilt that we normally have and that makes our life unnecessarily complicated. Learn to laugh at yourself. Okay, this is one of the ways of managing things, and life is not so serious. You know, if you take it too seriously, like Harry Hole in the beginning of the story, he was contemplating committing suicide, and this is not the way to live. You know, as Mozart says in a very beautiful speech at the end of the book, and he's laughing at all the things that Harry Hole is doing. Okay, sitting down in his room alone, miserable, reading, poring over books and writings, borrowing things from other people's writings, publishing them, fooling himself, and then at the end being depressed. So, what kind of life is that? Okay, Mozart is asking him.
The book is wonderful, especially for me. I'm working a lot of the wall and find a way. I think this book is light, like a light in the dark night. One of the best sentences that Hermann Hesse is telling us in this book is, one who cannot enjoy the life without permission of others is miserable.
That's right, very beautiful indeed. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you.